everybody, Randy Tausig, Blue Core Leadership Lessons from the Cockpit. And today we're going to talk about process. And there's a few things that I want to make sure we get clear. First of all, process is important in flying, as you know, but it's really important in your business. And I would say this, if you take the time to put together processes that you want followed, trust them. Trust that those processes will give you the results. And if not, you're going to tweak them. But also don't assume they're easy, that even a caveman can do it. It's not true. Sometimes we think it's easy, but we do need to make sure we have a consistent way of training and verifying that people are able to follow that process. And finally, you have to consistently measure and make sure the process is being followed and that you're getting the results that you want. We did a flight not too long ago, Gabe, Tiffany, and me, and we're going to do, and we have video from that, where Tiffany was a little bit skeptical. It's not that she's afraid of flying, but it was a windy day and there's a lot going on. And we shared with her the process of flying, and that really built some trust with her in going through the process and actually flying in the airplane. I'd suggest you need to do the same thing in your business. We'll talk more about that in the cockpit. See you in a moment. So part of the process is setting up. We have now 2 pilots. And so there's an opportunity to be able to share responsibilities. So what I'd like to do is ask you, Gabe, would you be okay if you do the radio?
Sure.
Okay, so Gabe's gonna handle the radio, so I don't worry about that. And I'll fly the airplane. And of course, anything with navigation, if we wanna just make sure we're helping each other, that's great too, but it's a pretty straightforward flight. We're gonna be flying IFR, so all good. So we've got that. So that's the first start of the process. We're clear about responsibilities.
Got it.
Your responsibility is just to relax.
And have fun.
317 Charlie Delta. I'm going to now go back to the checklist and just make sure we've done everything. So doors are good? Yep. Caps is out. Seatbelts. Everybody got seatbelts on. Good. Fuel quantity I'm going to put on the left, which is good. Fuel pump is on. Boost, which is good. Flaps, that we got that. Transponder. Autopilot, we figured out that's on standby. Radios are good. Frost, brakes, power. Okay, we just did this.
All right, you guys ready?
I'm ready. We're ready.
Ready?
Tower 317 Charlie Delta is ready to go. Runway 22.
317 Charlie Delta, ready.
If I want to tell you, part of it I think also is communication, like giving a heads up. So I'm going to tell you that the winds, the good news, the winds are right down the runway when we land, but they're 17 to 26 knots, so they're gusting. So that just means it might be just a little bit, not as smooth as normal, but it's going to be a safe landing. I'm going to come up with a little bit extra airspeed and all, but the fact that it's coming right down the runway, from a pilot standpoint, that's gold. So I just want to let you know, I want you to be aware of that. So that's part of the process, knowing what to expect and communicating that. All right, we made it.
I'm alive.
She's alive, and this, I have to say, this is, for a first flight in a small plane, this was really rough. I mean, we had 50-mile-per-hour winds, actually more than that, knots, right?
Yeah. You did great, Tiff.
Tiff, you did great. We're going to get out because you need some air. We'll talk soon. So we just did the flight,
Yes.
and we talked about process, and you said that you felt like watching some of the pre-flight and the stuff we did in the cockpit gave you a little bit more confidence in terms of, that everything's going to be okay. Why did it give you confidence?
Well, having the process and checklist in place, made sure nothing was falling through the cracks. Everything was completed in the order that it was supposed to be. We were all on the same page. Everyone knew what was supposed to happen and when, and what the outcome was supposed to be of each of those things. So there were no surprises along the way.
Having process in business certainly helps with confidence, as we know, to what Tiff said. I mean, as far as how to do what we say we're going to do and do it in a systemized way or a systematic way, I think really helps. And so that builds the confidence with the people around you that we all are on the same page, that we're going to do the same things to have a great outcome in business.
We're going to be going back in a little bit, and you're going to join us, or you're going to join me in the front.
I'm just going to fly back.
She's flying back.
I'm gonna fly.
The confidence. So let me tell you.
I'm so confident. I'm just going to take
So we have to talk about that. There's a point of being overconfident. So, but if you want to fly back, I'm good. You're risk taker, right?
I'll sit back. I'll take it.
I'm back in the cockpit after a great 2 days with Gabe and Tiffany and doing our company annual. And we actually got Tiffany in the cockpit where she's not really afraid of flying, but she's never flown in such a small airplane. And the weather conditions were challenging. It was very windy. So I give her a lot of credit. And as she said, it was understanding that there's strong process behind the fly that helped her gain confidence. So I think whether it's in the cockpit and we're trying to make sure the process supports the safety of the flight, or in your business, make sure you get the consistency and results, there's a few things to keep in mind. First of all, trust your processes. We've got process in flight that's been around forever and it works. You've got the same thing in your business. The other thing is, don't assume that it's easy to follow your processes consistently. It requires training and reinforcement, and it's important to remember that. And lastly, make sure that they're followed. You have to verify that they're being followed and also that they're the right processes giving you the results. You may want to tweak them from time to time to make sure that they get better and better. As always, we want you to weigh in if you can, and would love for you to talk more about how you use process and maybe some of the challenges you have with getting consistency around process. But at the end of the day, we're hoping that process is inside your business, building confidence consistently. As always, looking forward to another conversation in the cockpit. Bye for now.
07 Charlie Delta, left turn near discretion, Alpha to the ramp, my frequency. Have a great night.
Okay, left turn here, Alpha to the ramp will stay with you. You have a good night as well. Thanks.